Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the SIC Show, and I'm here with my main man Brent. How are you, buddy?
Awesome.
Awesome. And we've got the amazing Seascape photographer Mykal Hall this week, and find out what Mykal Hall, Homer Simpson, and a $10,000 carton of beer have in common.
And check out this inspiring image that Mykal took and how he actually borrowed a piece of equipment from a friend that opened his creative eye, and how he photographs a sunset the wrong way.
The wrong way, yep. All right, let's get into it.
Awesome.
The SIC Show. Share, inspire, create.com. Share.
All right, Mykal, man, what have you got to share today, man? Let us have it.
Okay. We all know The Simpsons. We're all big fans of The Simpsons. They've been around for like a quarter of a century. And back 20 years ago, there was a local brewery in Sydney who put out a beer called Duff Beer. Can you see that?
Oh.
The original Duff Beer from
Wow.
Lion Nathan put it out. Anyway, so we had 2 cartons of these, and we drank them one night after indoor cricket. And tastes terrible, actually. It was like flat. It was one of the worst beers you could have, really. But 20th Century Fox found out that Lion Nathan had put it onto the market. Obviously, that's trademarked. Said, get it off. You can't use that. So they had to pull all their stock out. Within 6 months after that, 1 carton was worth $10,000 on eBay. You can pick a full can for $200.
No.
We had 2 cartons of it. Oh my god.
That's hilarious, man.
So what is it worth?
That was crazy.
That's
So
unbelievable.
how much beer did you actually drink in total? Money-wise.
It was
24
48 cans. Yeah, it was 24 cans in a carton.
Yep.
And you could sell 1 full can for $200 at its peak. When I was looking up,
480.
Dude, that's a lot of money.
Oh man, that's
a lot
crazy.
of money, man.
That is
That is
$10,000. And that wasn't the peak.
$10,000.
We peaked at 13,000. So,
great.
Oh, dude, that's a classic Aussie story.
Man, you're making me thirsty.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a glass of...
I'm on the hard
Yeah,
stuff, man.
yeah.
I'm on the H2O, brother. So.
expensive beer I've had. It was terrible.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers, Michael. That was awesome, brother.
Yeah.
Inspire.
I believe you've got a great image to inspire us with, Mykal. So can you tell us the story about this image? I'm just looking at it here on Johnny's laptop.
Okay, do you want, have you got it, or you want me to bring it up, or?
No, that's okay,
We've
brother.
got
Just talk about it. We're looking at it
talk
now,
about
and we'll show the
Right.
we'll put it over the video now, so you're good,
Okay.
mate.
So that image, like, looking back at it now, it's not like the best quality image, but it represents a time when I was just on Google Plus, and I just started out, and I met up with a fellow Seascape photographer. Well, actually, he was the Seascape photographer back then. His name was Jesse Basili, and he said, let's meet up, because we'd only been chatting online. I'd never been out and done seascapes before, so we went out to his favourite beach, which was Turrametta Beach, which happens to be one of Sydney's best seascape beaches you can go to. We went out there, and I'm sort of like doing my normal shots, sort of getting the exposure right, getting composition right. Wasn't doing anything creative, and he's doing his like fantastic shots. He comes over and says, what lens have you got? And I said, oh, I've got a 77mm, whatever it was. And he goes, try this. And he reaches into his bag and he goes, try this. This is a B+W 10-stop filter. He said, screw it on your lens, dial this time in and see how you go. This was the image that came up. And once I saw that, that's when the creative juices just started flowing, and I thought, wow, man, this is just,
That's amazing.
you know, it's amazing. Amazing what you can do, you know. Just
Yeah,
one bit of
that's-
tool. And just by meeting someone who knows his craft and passes that knowledge on to you, and it's just like, bang, next level, you know, you're off and running.
Yeah.
And it
I
was
just love that you've
easy.
got. Michael, I just love that you've got that one image that has changed your photography creativity.
Yeah.
And guys, Michael is an
Right.
awesome seascape photographer. He's created some awesome images, such and so inspiring. And I got to say, even though you
Uh,
said it might not be one of your best images or whatever, mate, I think that it's actually a cracker. I love the square rocks and the mist. Brent, this is
Yes.
right. This is right up your alley, man. Long exposure.
Love it.
Brent is the long exposure
And
guru.
so, was that a pivotal moment in your photography, Michael? Having
yeah,
that
it
10-stop
was. It
neutral
was
density filter.
that 10 stop because it it gave me a new way of looking at things that, you know, not just getting a good exposure, it's getting a creative exposure. And that's what got the juices flowing there. It's like, oh, wow, okay, I can get an exposure, I can get a composition, yeah, but a creative exposure, makes a big difference. Big difference.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
for those people that can't see this and actually listening to this on iTunes, Michael, can you explain what the image looks like?
Okay, just have to pull it up on my one. Well, actually, it's you have a couple of layers of flat rock sort of on the left-hand foreground with just before that sort of a red-coloured sand, orangey-coloured sand, which then drifts off into a misty blue sort of sea with the background of a headland sort of coming down from the right-hand side and a nice sort of orangey sort of glow from the sunset, which is sort of gone behind us. So we're looking away from the setting sun, so we're looking out to sea because on the eastern coast of Australia, sunsets are behind us, not in front of us. So, and that's where I captured this. You know, it was just a pivotal moment.
Totally. And you know what I love about it is the different layers. So there's different layers. It looks like kind of a slate type rock, and then there's misty, slow. Obviously, the waves are coming in and out, and they're running off the different layers. But the different layers have got different shades of mist or smoky water kind of running all of them. And then you got that very high contrast edges of the rocks. It just looks beautiful. I mean, it definitely draws your eye into the left-hand side, and then my eye kind of goes across the bay and then up that headland. It's just a beautiful image, Michael. Well done. I mean, I can see how it totally opened your creative eye by borrowing that 10-stop neutral density filter. Did you actually give it back to him, or did you borrow it forever?
I was a bit nervous when I found out how much it actually cost. Like, you know, $50, I think it was, and he just passed it to me. So, but yeah, anyway, so within a week I ended up
That's awesome.
buying myself. So, yeah, couldn't resist it.
Well, I think that's a really good tip in general for photography is, don't be afraid to try something a bit different. Give something that you haven't tried before a go, because, I mean, this could be the pivotal moment that takes you to what's happened to Michael, it was just his time and place that he used this filter and it's changed his photography forever.
Totally.
It's taken it to a new level. So, I mean, lately for me, that thing has been macro photography.
Really?
In the last 6 months, I've been, more often than not, I'll pull out the macro before the wide now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's just opened up a whole new world in my photography. So, yeah, Michael, excellent and very, very inspiring.
Totally. And Michael, I'm a big fan of a 10-stop neutral density filter. And for a while, I think about 2 years, I didn't shoot a single landscape unless I had my 10-stop neutral density filter on it. I wasn't interested in shooting normal landscapes.
That's it. Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
The same day.
Create.
All right, mate. I know you've got something awesome that's going to show us what you do to create these awesome seascapes. What have you got for us, brother?
Okay.
Teach us something.
I prefer shooting sunsets, okay, because it's a lot easier to control the light. And what I use is, in Sydney, a lot of our beaches have a higher headland behind you, like the buildings, and so it's a lot higher. So when the sun gets down, probably an hour before sunset, the shadow casts over the rocks, over the beach, and so that way you can control the exposure of the foreground a lot easier. And then when you put your neutral density grad filter on, sort of like this, I think you can see it there, then you're just exposing the sky. And that way I can then get to my optimum shutter speed, which is 0.6 of a second, to get that beautiful flowing movement of the water. So a combination of man-made grad filter and nature's grad filter, because it's got rid of that contrasting of the light on the rocks in the foreground, and man, that's so much easier to control your exposure.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
0.6 of a second. Is that
0.6, yeah.
Is that to get the waves and the
0.6
water
of a
movement?
second.
0.6.
Yeah, look, we'll show you through these images
Wow,
now,
yeah.
guys, and you can see the water movement in those images, guys. It's just amazing.
Wow.
And to be honest, guys, that is my favourite shutter speed too. I love that shutter speed because I love that texture in the water from the moon. Look at that last one. Isn't that incredible,
I
Brent?
love that shot.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a shot that Jane Farina had on the visual.
Yeah. So we're just looking at your last image there, and just to explain it to the viewers on iTunes, there's this big pointed rock in the foreground leading you straight into the image, and then either side of it is the water is rushed in, and there's lines leading you straight out into the image. And from the right top corner to the left, where there's a headland sticking out in the left on the horizon, these lines of clouds pull you in too. So it's just a perfect example of leading lines, and I really love the texture in that rock in the foreground. It almost looks like, you know, a hunk of steel that's rusted with all these little ponds and green moss. It's just amazing, Michael. I love that image of yours.
Yeah,
Incredible.
awesome. And the couple that are up there too, I just love that green moss, you know, as, contrasted against the red sand.
Yeah.
Where do you get red sand like that? Wow.
It's 2 hours south, mate.
Okay. We should let you
go to Sydney. Yeah. No, Michael, that tip
That's
that
the
you gave
difference
us about shooting.
Between the northern beaches and the southern beaches. The northern beaches of Sydney have got more of that orangey sort of sand, and the further south you go, the wider the beach gets. And until you get down to Holmes Beach, like down an hour away, that's when it's like pure white. But yeah, you can sort of tell the difference between which beaches they are. So, and that way, once you've got that shadow casting over the land, you got your shutter speed set. Those 4 images within an hour, I'll just snapping them away. So it's so easy, you know. One of them was just a matter of just moving the tripod, just panning the head around and getting the shot. So.
Wow. And tell me the graduated ND filter that you got there, is that a 3-stop or a 2-stop, and is it a soft or a hard edge filter?
It's I'll just get a bit of paper so we can show it. It's a soft edge. I don't know if you can see, is that?
Yeah.
You can see that there?
Yep.
That one there is a 2-stop neutral density grad filter from High Tech, only a cheap one. It's not like your leaf filters that cost a fortune, glass, and easy to break.
Yeah.
These ones are a resin filter. I've got a 1, 2, and a 3 grad filter, and then I've got a 1, 2, and 3, and 5 solid filters. And then I've got mine.
Yeah.
So which one do you use the most?
Because that way, as
top 2.
The grad filters and because what I do is when I get like in the afternoon, as soon as the sun gets behind that headland and the shadow gets cast across the thing, I'll probably put maybe a 3 or a 2 solid filter on, and then maybe a 2 grad to control the light, depending on what the sky is like. If there's a lot of white clouds, there's a lot of light bouncing to control the exposure. And as the sun's getting lower and lower, I then slowly remove the grad filters and change into a less one, so it could be a 1. Then I might change the 3 solid to a 2 solid, just to keep that 0.6 of a second shutter speed. And then, because I don't like moving my ISO too much or my aperture too much, I might fiddle a little bit, but yeah, just moving the filters around is because I just try to get it in one shot. I don't like
totally. And what kind of filter holder do you use, Michael? And how many slots does it have?
I've got it's a Lee filter, Lee holder filter, and it's got 3 slots in it. So it doesn't have just the foundation kit. So.
Yeah, I love that thing. That's my
similar
favorite.
to the one I've got.
Yeah, but those resin filters, they save you so much money. And you know what? I've got a little story I'll throw in here. I went to pull out my big stopper the other day, and $200 worth of filter snapped in half. I mean, mind you, I hadn't had it out for about a month, and I've been out in the wilderness with work and whatever. But pulled it out, and then glass broken. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be buying another one. I'll be going for the cheaper one for sure. Yeah, so yeah, I highly recommend them too. And I know Jane Barino, I think they use the high tech ones as well.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the resin ones.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to mention too, it's sorry, Michael. I was just going to say, I just wanted to mention too, it's really super smart how you shoot on sunset with the sun behind you, because I mean, often the thing is you think, oh, you got the sunrise and you shoot the sun coming up, but what that does, it like you said, it's hard to control the exposure, and you either have to take multiple brackets, and it takes so much longer to post-process it because you've got to do blending in Photoshop. It's super smart, that technique you got, and man, what an awesome tip, Brett.
Yeah,
that's really, really smart.
Great tip.
Shooting away from the sun saves you so much post-processing time, and throwing the filters in as well to get that shutter speed. That's a great tip, mate. What were you going to say before I pulled you up, buddy?
You can come away with a lot more shots too, because you've got like within an hour. Like in sunrise, you've only got like 10 minutes of that crucial light, But in sunsets, a lot more images coming out, a lot more.
Yeah.
Sounds good, Michael. Thank you for that.
That's
awesome.
epic. That's such an epic tip. Thanks so much, Michael. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being on the show, buddy. It's been awesome having you. And yeah, awesome.
And
Okay.
Michael,
No,
by the way, you need to come. You need to come back up here and hang out with us like you did last time when Jay and Verena were up here. We had so much fun with you guys. It was awesome.
You know what I reckon we should do is get Michael up here, and we'll actually get him out in the field at sunset, and we'll shoot some stuff and do some live video.
Yeah.
So yeah, look out for that, guys. We're going to get Michael here, and we'll film that for sure, man, because that's just awesome. I'd love to see you actually do that in the field. That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to come up, mate.
And then you can edit all my little mistakes out, so make me look really good. So yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah,
No, you're a master, mate. You're a master of the Seascapes. There won't be a problem there, mate.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Michael. Man, that was amazing, hey?
Michael, he's a legend. Some awesome images. But you know what, man? Having that Duff carton of beer, I'm a huge Simpsons fan, man. Homer is just a legend. I love him. That's just an epic story.
I can't believe that the company overseas, the studio called them up and called them on it.
I know.
Told them they better not make it anymore.
Better not make it anymore. And I can't believe the cartons were worth $10,000 each. Like, they drank $20,000 worth of $20,000 worth of beer, like in one sitting. That's just crazy.
I wonder what the hangover was like. I wonder if it was $1 million hangover.
That was awesome, man. And that image, how about that in story? That's so inspiring. And like I said in the interview with Michael, like, it's amazing, Brent. Like you try something new, you push the boundaries with your photography, and that one thing can change your creative style forever. And look what it's done, You just long exposures and long shutter speeds. Michael loves it, and beautiful seascapes,
And it just shows that, guys, if you're a photographer, loan out your equipment to someone else, help someone else, give them the step up, and it might actually change their life,
Yeah.
Lend me your stuff. I'll keep it safe for you.
Hey, just between you and me, guys, Brent doesn't need any more camera gear, man.
No, I need a couple more lenses.
Oh, yeah, right. But no, that's so true, guys. This photography thing, it's all about sharing, and I always believe, in life in general, mate, the more you give, the more you receive. So
totally.
It's, what an awesome story. That one 10-stop led to him has changed his whole photography career.
I know.
It's amazing, mate.
And, it's really interesting. I found, how he stacks his neutral density filters when he photographs the sunset the wrong way.
Yeah.
When he photographs the sun setting behind him and he's shooting the final glow.
Yeah.
And how he stacks them, and then he takes off the 3-stop and then puts a 2-stop on it. It starts getting darker.
It's just so smart, the sun going down behind you, using headlands to shade your foreground, and it sort of balances out the images. Man, it's so smart. And guys, that's a really, really hot tip, and Guru Jay has given me this tip too. It's great, particularly when you're a beginner, Brand, because if you're shooting into the sun, the dynamic range between where the sun is in your foreground is just huge, and you've always got a bracket, which means when you get home, you've always got a blend. It makes your post-processing so much harder. If you can shoot away from that sun, and the dynamic range is much more balanced, especially with just one filter and get it in one shot, it's going to make your whole post-processing, workflow so much easier, mate. It's just amazing tip. Shooting away from the sun, we don't always think of it, but it's definitely a good thing.
I'm a big fan of capturing it in the camera and not doing too much post-processing. And I have learned Lightroom from you, and it's helped a lot. But
Yeah,
That's
I mean, and I got to say, you know, even with the dynamic range, it's like my D800 that I've got, you know, I reckon 90% of the time now, I don't even have to go to Photoshop. I just do it all in Lightroom, you know. Yeah. So getting that exposure right and getting it right in camera just makes your workflow so much easier. And it's such a great tip from Mykal. And you know, you look at his images, and you know, he says, you know, those images we showed, you know, he captured all of them in one afternoon. So there's like 4 different keepers, and he had all this time because you don't have that little slither of time before the sun pops up, like sunrise when you're shooting.
Yeah, because you've got that afterglow, which takes a lot longer.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and so, guys, if you want to check out more on Mykal Hall, click on the links below. Follow his Google Plus profile. He's always putting out some great stuff there. You know, a lot of great images. And go to sydneyseascapes.com. That's where he writes blogs, and you can actually purchase some of his prints over there too.
Man, he's an all-around nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
We've met them in person before, and he's a great person. Yeah, awesome. And like I said, we're going to get him back on the show for some video tutorials in the field. I reckon that would be epic.
Definitely. Awesome, guys. So leave comments below the show, please, and go to iTunes and leave us a rating. That will help us a lot.
Leave some comments there. And as always, guys, if you've got someone that you want us to interview, let us know. And if that person's you, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been another awesome show.
Catch you next week.
Take care. Bye.
To find out more, go to shareinspirecreate.com.